And we will move to open the Dutchess County LDC meeting. Jasmine, would you please take a roll call?
Dean,
Here.
Marcel,
Here.
Kathy Bauer. Here. Amy Bonadiri. Here. Jamie Capone.
Here.
Don Sagliano. Al Torriano.
Okay, conflict of interest disclosure. If anybody has any known conflict with the agenda, I would appreciate it if you let us know now. Okay, if anything comes up during the meeting that creates one for you, please let us know. Proof of meeting notice.
Yes, it's posted.
Okay, bills and communications.
No bills and
I have a
communications.
silly question. Is this something that's required to be part of our agenda?
Yes, so our bylaws state how our agenda is supposed
Okay.
to be. We can always change our bylaws. but-
Okay. We never have any bills and communications. Not, and again, I have mentioned this before, but we do have a very, how would I say, organized method of paying bills and approval process outside of the meeting. So it's not that they're just being paid without us knowing about them. Okay, approval of minutes. We have the July 13th minutes. Does anybody have any corrections, issues with them? Would somebody be willing to make a motion to approve them?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Kathy. Jamie?
I'll second.
Okay. Jasmine, would you please take a roll call on that?
Dean,
Approve?
Marcel,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer.
Approved.
Amy Bonadiri. Approved. Jamie Capone.
Approved.
Okay, report of the treasurer. Amy?
Yes. Looking at the balance sheet, we have cash of 2.9 million. We have one accounts payable, it's the payroll, the accrued payroll of 28,000. Looking at the P and L, we have total income of 731,000 to a budget of 1,285,000 for an unfavorable variance of 554,000. We have total expenses of 773,000 to a budget of 1.3 million for an unfavorable variance of 504,000. We have a net loss of 42,000 to a budget of 7,000 for an unfavorable variance of 49,000.
How long have you been with us now, Amy?
Jane.
Jane.
Dang it, Amy. Sorry.
I knew who you were talking about. Actually, October 1st, it'll be a year.
Okay. Just a question about, is there anything that concerns you about the budget as we have it right now?
Well, our expenses are pretty much on target. We may have because of the GASB 87 for rent, it may be reflected in the financial statements at a different amount. We're waiting for a rate right now, but otherwise the expenses are pretty much on target. It's the revenue
Right.
that we're.
We all know can just vary from time to time. Great, and is there anything within our practices that you've, observed that you feel we might want to look at changing?
No, as of right now, I think once I get through another audit, I should be pretty good. And then if there's anything that does come up, but otherwise everything seems pretty squeaky clean.
Well, thank you, and I enjoy working with you, and I do find that you are very conservative and cautious in how you are managing our books, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll just comment that Jane is very thorough. Calculate, she has several different calculate to double check. I think.
I have cross-footing.
Right, and she sends stuff regularly to me too.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so thank you, and next on the agenda is report of committees. Are there any reports that we need to talk
Not
about?
at this time,
Unfinished business,
no.
okay. New business,
Yeah.
discussion. Sarah, would you like to take that?
So, yeah, we had a couple months ago been, was alerted by Staffline that our healthcare costs may increase again for 2023. So looking at those costs, it prompted us to kind of take a review of our staff's fringe benefits. To kind of give you background on our fringe benefit package. The last time our fringe benefit package was changed was in 2016. Our current fringe package is an allowance of up to $18,000. This allowance cannot be taken as cash, but the employee can allocate that allowance among all the benefits that we offer through staff line. So that includes health insurance, eye care, dental care, a 401k, and then I would call other services such as like life insurance or I don't know what you call it, AFLAC or supplementary coverage. So those are the benefits that they can use that 18,000 for. But just looking at healthcare itself, I ended up having in your I think it's just a letter, but in 2016, a individual using the highest or most expensive healthcare coverage was 370 or this is biweekly, I'm sorry. So it was about $700 a month for that employee. In 2023, that same coverage is going to be $1,328 for one individual.
Is that family or individual coverage?
Individual to
coverage.
individual, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, say it was $700 when?
In 2016,
Okay,
so
And what is it now going to be?
1328.
1328,
So it's almost doubled.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so if they were to take that, that would be of the 18,000 that they're currently granted. What's the math on that? You prior to this? Is that what you came up with the?
Yeah.
But what are you trying to figure out?
1328 times 12.
Oh, the annual.
So it's about $16,000.
Right, so that leaves them only 2,000 for any other benefit, including 401k. Staggering, I'm in this business and it's staggering. It's just annual health coverage for a family at $40,000.
Yeah, and that's, so it's even higher if you just include a spouse.
Right.
A spouse in 2016 was, that's not right. Was about $1,500. And in 2023, that's $2,657,000.
Right.
So it's double that.
Now, staff line does go out and goes to all the different providers and tries to get the best deal for us.
Yes.
Okay.
So you said this was the most expensive option.
So that was the most expensive option.
What does that mean as
so-
far as coverage goes?
So that's the, I think that's what we would consider the platinum plan, and I didn't bring my reading glasses,
Can you
so.
borrow my triple look ones? Find something you like in those three choices.
The Silver 8.
Yeah, so it's is it the silver? No, it's the platinum one. So it's, the out-of-pocket is 2,500 for individual,
Okay,
and then,
okay. So it's not like they're getting no deductible on this either. Okay, so a question from a budgetary standpoint. Are we able to, you're recommending a pretty significant increase. From a budgetary standpoint, can we absorb something like that?
so from a budgetary standpoint, based on past LDC performance, yes, we can absorb that. We do also have a fund balance, a fairly good fund balance that can absorb the increase in costs. The thought behind this increase was that we don't increase our benefit regularly. You know, the last time we looked at it was, quite a while ago, and
Why is that? 6 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And it's gonna jump.
Looked at wage, but we haven't really. looked at-
Yeah.
We should have a trend like at least every 3 years at most, because this is a 33% jump.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And every year the costs are going up, so.
And, from that standpoint for us, but also for the employees, I mean, we've looked at their wage, but this is part of compensation.
Yeah, it has to
And
be
and
more
based
frequent.
on this, they've really fallen behind.
Yeah.
Sarah, how many employees, so you have your $6,000 increase times how many employees?
So we have 6 employees. I will say that not all our employees, even right now use.
But the potential's there.
But the potential's there. And there are employees I will say that do use
Max out.
max out and use out of pocket and, provide coverage for more than themselves.
Sure.
So it is in my thinking, it's really more of a catch up than it is, that because our practice has been to offer a 3% cost of living increase
Right.
every year, and that has been outpaced by this healthcare costs.
So what I would like to suggest, we have a couple board members that are not here, and I think it would be important to have them included in the discussion. So I think, a preliminary discussion today, I think the consensus I'm hearing is that this group feels it's worthy of further discussion. And so let's wait until we have the other members here before we make a final decision, but.
And this will go into effect 2023?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yes.
So we have time.
Can I just ask, so, I don't have any, sort of inside knowledge of, sort of the different, the distribution of salaries or pay. But it seems to me that if the salary was at $60,000, we've got an incredibly disproportionate amount of money going towards benefits.
Yeah,
That proportion obviously changes on the other end, but it's, I'm speaking from a sort of a
Yeah, I mean, I would
farming
say-
budget thing.
yeah.
It's hard for me to
yeah,
to really absorb it.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because 10% of a lower salary versus 10% putting into their.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really, I will say that, we did lose one employee because the benefit that they were gonna get from this other opportunity was, far better, and she was covering more than herself with our healthcare insurance, so,
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a tough societal issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that in my firm, an employee that's more at an entry level salary, the cost of benefits can be close to the compensation they receive,
Yes.
but that doesn't help them, overall because, so anyway, okay, so let's continue this discussion, assuming we have better attendance at our next
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah.
All right,
That's fine. Also too, as I didn't mention, is the 401k. Currently, we have a limit on how much an employee can contribute. It is 20% of their base salary, but no more than 15,000, whichever is lower.
Plus a 10%.
I accidentally.
Oh, it should be 20?
20%.
Okay.
20%.
and you're suggesting that we make the maximum equal to what the total they're allowed to spend in ERISA type?
What I'm proposing in this is just to lift that limit so that then the limit becomes whatever the federal maximum, which I think right now is 18,000.
Okay.
There's some catch-up provisions.
Yeah, there might be some
People that-
catch-up provisions, but I would, so just to limit that, but because it also, because of the way because it's a 20% limit, it also, the employees who have like lower salaries, they're limited because it's, then
Right.
again, 20% of their salary versus,
Right, it's not equitable.
it's not equitable.
Well, but it's more likely that people with higher compensation would really take advantage of the removal of the cap because people that have lower compensation,
Need
it'd be
to
very
cash.
difficult for them to sock that much away.
Yeah.
But again, having the option, it could be a situation with a spouse and it might make sense for them. So,
Or just put a number limit, a dollar limit on contribution. Keep it at 15,000 for all employees.
So just to be totally clear, when you say contribution, it's contribution from the benefit fund
Yes,
elected by the employee.
Correct.
It's not their contribution
is there any
necessarily.
reason why we just wouldn't want to say that it's
No.
the maximum is equal to the maximum federal allowance?
I think, I think the reason that limit was put in place back then was there was a thought that employees may not use the health insurance, so they wanted to make
Right.
sure that the employees use the health insurance.
Oh.
So that's why there was a limit put on the,
Yeah, but 15 versus 16 is not a lot
yeah, so,
to get health insurance.
yeah.
$1,000.
yeah, so
Okay.
that was the thought back then. So that's,
Okay. All right, so we'll discuss that further at the next meeting. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
so no, I just have a couple of announcements.
Great.
One is, last week, we held Accelerate Hudson Valley, an event in the city of Poughkeepsie to highlight what's going on in Dutchess County, in particularly Poughkeepsie. It was an event targeted to business and investors. We partnered with Upstate Capital on this event. We had Jerry Laybourne, who is a former television executive who lives in Dutchess County. She was one of the, not a founding member, but brought in early, while they were still working in the garage of Nickelodeon. And she really shaped Nickelodeon as we know it today, and Nick and Night, the Disney Channel. And she is a co-creator of the Oxygen Network. So she spoke at our event, and then we had some pitches by regional startups. We had a walking tour of the city of Poughkeepsie, and then we had a developer panel where we had Joe Kirchhoff, Eric Baxter, Jacob Reckes, and Lynn Ward just talk about development in Dutchess County. It was a great success. Tim was there.
Yeah, I thought it was.
And we had over 127 people in attendance, and they they came from Albany, New York City. We had a large group from Westchester. So it was a really nice event. Our next event is on Thursday, October 27th, and that is our Business Excellence Awards. It is going to be, should I just say it's going to be at the Culinary? It's going to be at the Culinary this year. The programming is going to be slightly different. Typically, I think a lot of people have been to our Business Excellence Awards. We have the networking in the beginning and then the program afterwards. But at the Culinary, we're going to do the programming first and then the networking afterwards. So the programming will start at 6 or around 6. The times are still being worked out. We hope to end by 6:40, 6:45, and then have networking until 8 o'clock. Afterwards. And our winners, we just announced on Monday, our winners this year, our Small Business of the Year is HES Industries. They are they manufacture what they call chucks that go into producing semiconductor chips. They go into the machine, in the tools that go.
Hold the wafers.
To hold the wafers, yes. And they actually were, it was a company that was founded by IBM back in the late 80s, then partnered with Dorsey Gage. Dorsey Gage then sold it to FM Industries. FM Industries bought it and then moved it to Arizona. And then 2 years ago, one of the employees bought it from FM Industries and brought it back to Dutchess County. And so they're called HES. They've been back in Dutchess County for a little more than 2 years.
Where are they
Yeah, I
located?
was just saying.
They are in I Park.
Okay.
That makes sense.
They are in I Park. it just, while they've been in Fishkill, they've done tremendous amount of work. They've increased their revenue by 70% over the 2.5 years. The amount of clients they've done, they've increased, they started with 3 employees, now they have 20. So they've been tremendous. So they are our small business of the year. Our large business of the year is Arnoff Moving and Storage. Our innovator of the year is Uncharted Power. Our nonprofit of the year is Family Services, Inc. And our grand award this year is going to go to Kirchhoff Companies.
Neat.
So,
Great.
and sponsorship opportunities are still available.
Okay, anything else? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.